When we talk about prostate cancer, what in particular makes that small gland get cancer? Why is that little thing producing cancer or cancer going to that little area?
Well, there's a couple reasons. I'll give you two offhand. Aside from, patients will say, well, the usual, bad habits and the toxins and all this.